So I'm here at my house. It is Thanksgiving Day and I'm running late for dinner. I'm gonna try to ride this thing and do a range test. This is the RadRunner 3 Plus. I've got 23 miles to go. That should easily be able to do that. It says up to 45 miles an hour on a charge. It has a full charge. We're gonna see how this thing really does.
Gear up and get outside.
Okay, so here we're, well, 4 minutes. I've just been getting ready to go, but we got the trip at 0 and off we go. I'll do a mix of pedal assist and just full throttle because I need to make up some time, but kind of how I'd normally ride it around town anyway. Got it. This is fun. This is really fun. Just a few thoughts while I'm riding here, if you can hear. It's a really nice ride. I mean, it's not as nice as full suspension, downhill something or other. It doesn't have any rear suspension, but that's intentional because it's meant to be used as a utility bike that also helps it support more weight, like a bigger guy like me. I'm 6'1", 220. And then if I also have a lot of gear on here, like when I was hunting, I was able to carry that just fine. In fact, I rode around with this, my teenage daughter, and all our gear for hunting, a couple of rifles and some gear. I mean, I'm sure we exceeded the total weight capacity of 350 pounds for this, and it made it. You know, it slowed down on uphills and downhills, but it did okay. And here on this kind of terrain, it just thrives. You know, it's got enough grip in those big fat tires that aren't super knobby, but they do well enough to grip well on packed gravel, packed dirt like this. Mud, they got a little loosey-goosey on me, but for the most part, this is a smooth ride, and it's just a joy on pavement. And what a beautiful day it is to be out riding this. Looking at the map, I've gone 22 miles. I've still got 3 bars of battery out of a bunch, so I still got like quarter battery or so, but I got a flat. Dadgum. Oh yeah, it's totally off the tire. Son of a gun. I should be eating turkey right now. Ooh, where is it? Oil shoot. I think I'm gonna have to hang up and call Megan. All right, so I made it. Sergio helped me out. That was very nice of him. Got me the rest of the way. Last 3 miles to my in-laws' house for Thanksgiving, and here we are. So that was about an hour and a half, and I went 22 miles on it. And then I had 3 miles left, so I would have gone 25 miles. And I have, as you can see, 4 bars left, and that's 4 out of 10. So, you know, it went down to 3 when you ride it. So I'm guessing I got maybe another 5, maybe you could squeeze all the way up to 30 miles. So 45 no, but 20 definitely. And in other experiences I've had when I was hunting and running over more rugged terrain and a lot of logging roads and dirt roads and stuff, I got like 15, 16. I recharged it early though. I probably could have squeezed a few more out of that. So anyway, it's realistic in that range, but 45 seems very optimistic. Maybe if I weighed half as much. Okay, so it has been a couple days and I am now gonna try to fix this thing. So let's get to it. Oh, there's our culprit, a screw, dang. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to repair that. I also have a little piece of wire in there, but that is definitely my problem. Well, hopefully I can patch this thing, otherwise I'm gonna have to get a new tube. Filming. I hate banging on things, but I might get out a mallet. So, I believe I requisitioned my rubber mallet for my tents, so I'm gonna make do with a hammer and a shoe. There we have it. And there's that darn screw. Couple little tire irons. So here's something I learned about these tire levers. For these fat tire bikes, especially these with the smaller wheels, they seem a lot harder to get off, and especially when it's cold, which it is right now. And these little bike tire levers are insufficient. I wish I had my motorcycle levers, but they're in my trailer at my dad's house. So of course I don't have them when I need them. But I recommend, if you're gonna do this, you get some motorcycle tire levers that are gonna just be a lot more heavy duty, give you more leverage, and let you really get under there. So these aren't all that different from motorcycle tires. Well, not quite as stiff. That would help because this bead, this right here, is a lot thicker piece than on a typical bike tire. So this little lip you have on the tire lever is just insufficient. I can't quite get it down far enough. I'm making it work, but it is a slow, painful process. And now I'm just kind of inching along. There we go. That's what I wanted. That was impossible a little bit ago. There, that's what we need. Ha-ha! So now we can see the tube in there and we can get to business. Find that. So I'm going to make a mark on my tire where that was. Drywall screw. Oh yeah, self-tapping. Dadgummit. Worked for this guy, he self-tapped right in there. I might be able to catch this after all, I really hope so. Somewhere in that region. All right, there's our tube. I'm gonna go locate that hole exactly in the sink. Look at those holes. Found the holes, but strangely, they weren't in the same place as that screw, so I don't know what the heck is going on. And there's two, one on either side. It's almost like it got pinched near the valve, or there's something else in it. I get my little patch kit and I put a couple patches on and see if that's enough to do it. Right on that little rib there. I hate that. That's the hardest. I'll patch these up and then I'll pump it up and go check in the sink again just in case there is another hole, which is very possible. Here's these little guys. Put it right square over top. And you just stuff this guy on. These are the Park Tool Super Patch Kit. Super common, super cheap. Probably order a spare tube or two for these though, just in case. For the other side. All right, got it dried off, got it deflated. I'm gonna stick the tube back in the tire now. What I figure happened, because it wasn't aligned, you know, where they pulled the screw out from where I found those two holes, one on either side. I figure it actually is the screw. It's just that since the tire has been off the rim and I walked the bike for a little while, moved it around the garage, I think that tire just shifted. So the screw ended up in a different spot. I did go double check 2 more times in the water to make sure I didn't have any known leaks. And so far it feels pretty good. So I'm just gonna get this tube back in. I get that dumb valve in, that's the worst part. Which is, there we go. While I get the tire back on the rim, which going on should be a lot easier than coming off. You want to come, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Put some air in that bad boy. Haha. Okay, so you had to align that piece, had to go in just so. It's not just a regular lock washer. That lines up in a fixed position on both sides. So inside, and you'll see the notch goes like so. Okay, now I can start putting the piece back to there. Also have to make sure, of course, your brake rotor's lined up in the caliper. It is just fine. And you don't want to press on the brake handle while you're doing that. Otherwise, it will be almost impossible to do so. It says 4 to 6 Newton meters. I don't have a bike wrench, so I'm using a I'm using a different little torque wrench thing for my hunting rifles, and it's an inch-pound, so, oh, perfect. Roughly 45 inch-pounds. Okay, that's in. We'll get a hand tight and we'll torque it. That, as it was, 4mm hex right there. This I just have because it's for the trailer attachment, so put that back on, of course. Hello. No wobbling. That is good. I just need to reconnect these bolts, screw that little jobber in there, put one zip tie around that. Okay, last little bit, we're just gonna torque these. So I got a torque wrench that's going to 45 Newton meters. I'm doing a 33 foot-pounds. 18mm socket. That's pretty tight. There we go. Just need to attach that chain and we'll be in business. Okay, so line it on the derailleur. Yep, see right there, it found its spot. Look at that. No wobble. Looks straight. Brakes work. We're in business. Finally, that's done. Now we can go ride again. All right, the e-bike flat tire is fixed, and now I want to finish this darn range test. Before I do that, I better put my tools back in the little pouch. I'm bringing an extra CO2 cartridge this time because I suspect I may not have had enough with one in the event that I did need to use it. So I'm just gonna take two just in case, and hopefully I don't use it. I guess I didn't last time, thanks to Sergio. I'm actually going to take my trailer this time because I'm gonna run by the storage unit and I gotta pick up some things. So this is the trailer from Rad Power Bikes that they advertised for it. Pretty easy to attach and detach. That's why I got that little nubbin on there from you saw earlier when I was fixing the flat. You line it up, boom. Got this little safety strap. I don't know, I put it around this one or whatever. That's your backup. That's it, that's all there is to it. There's a funny little flag that goes right there if you wanna be cool. The kids love it. Okay, so I haven't charged the battery since I ended this the other day on Thanksgiving. I just wanted to leave it in my garage and pick up where I left off to complete the full range test. And, you know, it's gonna be somewhat indicative of what you can expect. And while I would have liked to do it continuous, it didn't work out, and that's kind of real life too, right? Sometimes you just park in the garage and then you don't charge it and you want to take it out a few days later. So we'll see where we're left off. Turning it on. So we have 21.9 miles on it, an hour and a half, hour and 36 minutes. We're gonna see how long we go until we run out. 4 bars of battery. I'm gonna be towing a little extra weight. That trailer doesn't weigh hardly anything. And then I just got a few things to pick up for my storage unit. I could probably even get them in the basket, but why not? Let's take the trailer. So kind of how I would really use it. Cruising around, we'll see what kind of range we get. It is also cold, I should note. At night, it's been, you know, below freezing. My garage is probably pretty close to freezing, maybe 40 degrees at night. That's not great for battery. And then today, I mean, it's lovely, but it's probably 45 degrees, 50 degrees, maybe tops. Sunny. You will just see how it does in these kind of conditions and know that if it was warmer, very nice, mild weather, then you'd probably get maybe a little bit better range. If you're lighter than me, maybe a little better range. There's all kinds of things that'll factor in. But, you know, this is about as real world as it gets. With a bike that's not brand spanking new, a battery that's not brand spanking new, it's just, you know, lightly used. I got about 100 miles on the bike now. A little more, I think. If you didn't know from some of my other videos, I'm somewhat of a cooler guy. I do a bunch of cooler tests and stuff. That's why I got a whole bunch of coolers there. Now we've got coolers, but that also is good for carrying stuff. Yeah, that feels good. Tire still has air, here we go. Okay, off we go. Coolers in tow. I don't know, there's something satisfying about being small but feeling like a truck towing stuff around. All right, 3 bars. I do have the light on. I can't imagine that makes a big difference either way, but let's turn it off for the last bit, conserving power here. 22.1 miles. Hopefully we make it. What was that? It just cut off on me. Do not know what happened right there. Oh man, I really don't want to pedal this whole... Something's going on. Let's just try pedaling. That was weird, it just cut off on me twice. I wonder if the battery is too cold. You know, this happened to me once when I was hunting in the morning. It was really cold. I thought the battery was almost dead, but then when I got it going again, it wasn't. Still had a few bars, but it just shut off on me like that. Oh look, 2 bars already. Oh boy, I might not make it there and back. So I'm starting to wonder if that's just like a temperature thing. I bet it is. Maybe once I get riding a little bit, that battery warms up, it won't be an issue. But hey, one thing I'm pleased about on this one compared to a couple other e-bikes I've tried is that at least I'm in the minimum range they advertise. You know, they say 20 to 45 miles plus on a charge. I've surpassed 20, so that's great. I tried a couple of quiet cats, and on the Ranger, I barely made 20 like their minimum in optimal conditions, but I only made that once. This one looks like it's gonna work. Oh yeah, shoot, we're already at 1 bar. Folks, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Or I'm just gonna be riding a regular bike. Dadgum. One thing that's cool about this bike though, I don't have it, but you can get an additional battery, which, you know, big deal. You always can for just about any e-bike. However, on this one, you can run a second battery in tandem. You can mount it underneath the cargo rack, and then you'll have 2 batteries at a time, which is pretty awesome. That should allow you to, you know, I assume double your range. So then even in less than ideal conditions like this, where maybe I'm cruising around full speed, cold weather, you know, I should be able to comfortably hit 40, 45 miles of range. Whereas here, I'm sort of lucky to do that. This trailer does bounce around a lot. No suspension on that trailer. You know, I was thinking the other day when I was riding on those little roads, it's kind of interesting. In France, I lived in France for a while, and I had to redo a driving test and all the stuff over there to get a French driver license. It was a huge pain. But one thing I found interesting in everything they teach, and I think this is pretty common throughout Europe, is that they don't use the word drivers, like chauffeur or conducteur. They use usagers de la route, which means users of the road. And they consider like all users of the road equal. So whether you're a car, a bus, a pedestrian, or a bicyclist, or a motorcycle rider, everybody has sort of, you know, equal priority on roadways. But just a much less yours or mine attitude about roadways. It's pretty fun because people are just very courteous. I ride motorcycles too, and some people aren't big fans of motorcycles. Well, I don't know if people are fans, but they will yield to motorcycles all the time. They'll pull over the right shoulder of the road just to let you by, even on skinny little country roads. When you get to an intersection, if you're a bicyclist or a motorcyclist, like right here, there would be another stop line. And that stop line is to separate what they call deux roues, you know, 2-wheeled vehicles, motorcycles, scooters, bikes, whatever, from passenger vehicles. And the passenger vehicles have to stop farther back. And 2-wheeled vehicles can and should sneak up to the front and be right in the front at any stop sign or stoplight. The idea being that you're safer there, because a lot of accidents happen where motorcyclists especially get rear-ended at an intersection when they're waiting in a regular string of cars. Well, if you're up front, you're not exposed to the same risk. And people are very courteous about it. Nobody gets mad. Nobody's flipping the bird at you. And there's this kind of fun thing where if you're the cyclist, you would do this thing where, to thank people, stick your leg out. You know, you just stick your leg out like that. That's your way of saying thanks to the drivers, and people will wave, sometimes give a little courtesy beep. I was just really stoked on that, the whole attitude towards 2-wheeled vehicles. So here is my storage unit. This storage unit exists for the sole purpose of outdoor empire. As you can see, my collection of 60 coolers, and about 10 of them are at home right now because I'm about to do a video, and that's why I had to pick up a few things I forgot yesterday, some of the accessories. My tent's got things like fishing bows and some hunting gear. I probably shouldn't tell you all this. Don't come and rob me, please. All right, so I got what I need in here, and let's get loaded up and go. Let's see if this thing will give me any more juice. There's 2 bars. A little bit of throttle. Oop, it doesn't like that. Oh man, it doesn't like it when I give it any throttle at all. Okay, so it looks like my camera battery and my bike battery are going dead at the same time. So if I really juice the twist throttle, boom, 2 bars, it just shuts down. Doesn't like that. Let's boot it back up and pedal. Let's see if I can milk it with the pedal assist. I can feel it's assisting a little bit. Not like it normally does, especially, oh, there it is. I'm getting a little bit of pull there. Oh, nope. This must be the end. What does that computer say? So, I don't know if you can see that, but 24 miles, 1 hour and 55 minutes. And that's basically been continuous riding with some stopping in there, but shave off 20 minutes, you know, hour and a half easy. But when I give it any kind of, when you see any wattage going up there, there's 200, 400, 500 watts output. That's still on. Maybe I just have to sort of keep it really low, just in level 1. I'll put level 2. Yeah, I think I'm toast. I don't think it's, it wants to, you know. It gives a little bit of an effort in the pedal assist. Some other things I like about this bike are that, well, I kind of like it and don't like this. When you brake, you can't brake and throttle at the same time. And there's a bit of a delay. You know, once you brake, it cuts the throttle to the motor. But there's a bit of a delay before you let off the brake and you can go. So when you're like on a hill with a trailer full of stuff behind you, it'll kind of pull back on you because it doesn't hold. That's kind of a bummer. But stuff like this, you know, bumps and stuff, you don't even worry about it. I barely feel it with these big fat tires. But feel a little bit more with that trailer bouncing around. Yeah, see, now it's giving me like no help at all. And that last bar is blinking. I don't think the motor's even doing anything. I do like that the tail light is also a brake light. So when you grab on the brakes, it gets a little brighter. Granted, it's tiny, so you know, it's not going to help that much for cars far away, but it's a comfortable riding position. You know, it's upright. It's not meant to be sporty or fast. You know, just riding around town. It's also nice when I was hunting because you're upright, so it's easy to look around without being thrown off balance, or you're not hunched over all day. Because usually I'm just going real slow when I was using it hunting, just to look around for stuff. Yeah, that last indicator is blinking and it's not helping me out at all. But when there's no battery, I mean, it still goes. You're riding it like a regular bike. It's definitely more effort than my road bike or my gravel bike. A lot more friction on the tires. Here we go. Rough. So one thing I love the most about e-bikes, especially when you're just using it for chores, or when I was using it around camping, or, you know, I didn't get the chance this year, but I was hoping to haul a deer out with it. Or just here, you know, hauling cargo around, kids around, whatever. It's right when you need to get going, you don't have that big effort to just get that first turn of the pedals. You just give it a little throttle, you're off and going, and then you just go right into cruise mode. You can pedal as hard or as little as you want. Yeah, we're blinking again, so it's all me now. It's all right. Well, folks, I think we can say I got a solid 24 miles out of this. That's 24 miles in relatively cool weather, you know, not dead of winter, but definitely not warm. You know, once the battery's up to temperature, it's probably a good thing to not let them overheat. But when it's cold or stored overnight, those extra cold temperatures are probably a bad thing. Maybe doesn't quite help for longevity, but so maybe I'd eke out a few more miles, maybe 5 more miles in really nice weather. I was in the range, I suppose, but you know, that's still 21 miles short of the top end they advertise. You know, when I was hunting with this, riding off-road, timber roads, little trails and paths and stuff, mud, dirt, gravel, duff, leaves from trees, all that kind of business, with a lot up and down. Granted, I pedaled almost all the time. I rarely did full, only throttle, but I did a solid 15 miles, and I still had, I think, 2 or 3 bars left one night, and that was the next morning. It was, I actually ended up plugging it into my truck and probably 2/3 charged by the next day when I picked it up again. And I must have ridden another dozen miles or so, and I was down to a couple bars, a few bars at the end. So, you know, it all just depends on how you use it. If I were just going full throttle all the time and never pedaling around town, I wouldn't expect to even get 24 miles, I suppose. Well, that's not, let me rephrase. I would expect to get 24 miles. Frankly, I think those ranges, they're gonna say 20 miles on the low end. I think that should be their full capacity, 350 pounds, full throttle. You can say flat ground if you want, but you know, if you got 350 pounds on this bad boy, full throttle, how far am I gonna ride then? Ooh, that's a test I should do. Load this sucker up. All right, so here we are, just finished. I'm almost at 26 miles, but the last couple miles I've been pedaling. 25 and a half, 2 hours, 7 minutes. Blinking light there. So not too bad, you know, I think that's reasonable. That's probably what you can expect. And I did use it how I normally use it. You know, this time I even put a little trailer on here, had some gear. All right, let's get this thing home and decide what I do next. By the way, if you're liking this kind of video, let me know and hit the like button, and then also leave a comment if you like this format or not. I'm trying out all kinds of different stuff. I know I do a lot of different content from all kinds of different gear and things, but I mean, this is all the stuff I'm just into, so I'm just putting it all out there. But let me know if there's any of this stuff you don't like or you do like. So this video ended up being more just about range and consequently kind of how to fix that flat tire that I didn't plan on having. I have a lot more thoughts and opinions on this bike. I've been riding it for a few months now, and so I'm gonna put more details on our website in the written review. And we'll also do more stuff with this bike in the future. I plan on taking it on a camping trip soon, so keep an eye out for that. I hope you liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Gear up and get outside.